In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the ignition coil on the Subaru Forester. This is what feeds all of your spark plug wires. It sits on top of the engine, so let's get started. Locating the ignition coil on the passenger side of the engine, on the back of the intake here at the top, let's unplug the spark plug wires. You want to make sure you keep them in order, so I'm going to put the two top ones, I'm going to lay them forward, and the two bottom ones, I'm going to leave them there. That way I keep everything separate and everything plugs back into exactly where it's meant to go. Slide these out. And the other side. All right, there's an electrical connector right here for the ignition coil. Press on that tab and disconnect it. Sometimes this is difficult to press just because if the tab gets stuck with debris, well, then it's going to be difficult to unplug. I'm going to try and press this with a pry bar, little tiny pry bar, and kind of pull out at the same time. There it goes. This one was definitely quite stuck in here. Must be sand built up in there. So shake it out, check for corrosion. This one looks great. So let's grab a 10mm wrench or socket and remove the 3 bolts holding this ignition coil on. 2 of the bolts are right at the top. These bolts will actually stay mounted in here, but they will unthread. They'll just stay with the ignition coil. All right, let's break free the other one. All right, last one is actually on this side, but on the bottom. And there's the ignition coil. Get the new ignition coil, slide it in, and I'm going to start the 2 top bolts in first. That way it's lined up and it'll stay in place, and then I can line up the bottom one and start it in. But at least with these 2 started, it won't move around too much on me. There we go. All right, now it'll stay. And I can put this lower one in. Perfect. Snug the lower one up. And let's tighten up the 2 top ones. That's bottomed out. Give it about 1/8 of a turn after it bottoms out. That should be plenty tight. You don't want to strip out the aluminum threads that this goes into on the intake. Bottomed out, a little bit extra. Perfect. Let's plug in the main electrical connector on the side. As you slide this in, you want to make sure it clicks. If you're having trouble pressing it down, try to use some sort of tool that'll help you push on it. All right, if I try to pull, it's locked in, so that's perfect. Let's get the spark plug wires reconnected. Doesn't matter which one you start with, just make sure they go back to exactly where they came from. When you press these on, you're going to feel a click at the very end. That's how you know it's seated fully. And we're going to put the top one on. Once again, I kept these separate. All right. Both of those are seated. Let's get this one in here. Make sure they're pressed in all the way. And last one. All right. Double check them. Now you can start your engine and make sure it's running smoothly. If not, double check all your connections.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.